What's going on, guys? We are back for the next session of our Lordly Caliber RPG. We are all here. We have not one but two people from the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and they are trying to get their way up to 100 subs so Kane can run a one-shot. So real quick, before we get any farther, if you haven't already, please just click this little card right here. It'll take you over to their channel. Just click the subscribe button. It means a lot. Again, congratulations to whoever has, I can't say future Tommy knows at this point because the deadline is up as of today for the giveaway, and I actually have to sit down and pick somebody because they're all really good. But congratulations to whoever won. Again, it will be announced tomorrow on the next episode of the Forgotten Race review. And since we are super behind on time, I'm going to go ahead and break out the D6 for the Hero Point Recollection, and we will get down to business. First up is Colin in character reflection for the Hero Point. Go.
All right. Xandu got kind of ripped off by Lucia's father there. He's a bit pissed because he got kind of what the rebellion wanted, which was that
You gonna make it?
I really could use some Xanax right about now.
Which is that they're not going to be actively attacking the rebellion anytime soon, at least not in force, but at the same time,
I gotta do this.
he basically told them where Emmy was and got no guarantee that they will to him when they find her. So he's and he is more eager than ever to return to the dimension of dreams and follow, can find and rescue her, or find some other way to enter it fully to pull her out.
Fair enough. Already take your hero point, and I'm gonna roll a d5. I can do that. I can just /R d5, and it's gonna spin for. It's not hard. Roll 20. It's a d5. We get it to. All right, Van. In character reflection for the hero point. You have the floor.
Man, I'm glad we got rid of that wet behind the ears noble. I mean, I don't know what chance he's got, and I wish him well, but really, God, how if he ever ascends to the throne, what is he gonna do? Sit there and I don't know. I think that it's cool that Lucia's dad was like, yes, I'll try to help you. But, it's better than nothing. Maybe it's the point in the direction, and, if enough pebbles roll down the hill, one will hit somebody on the head and change their mind. So, glad I'm done with that, and now we got to get off this fucking rock.
Fair enough. Take your hero point as I hit a d4, and it is a 1. Joe, you weren't here last time. I'm going to say I rolled a d4 at some point during the last session, and I rolled a 3. So the entire process of you guys, from when you first get to the woods to all the indecision, to figuring out what you're trying to do, to teleporting to Absalom, to running around Absalom and doing stuff, and teleporting back here, took you guys about 3 hours. What was Enderling doing in that time for the hero point?
Enderling? Probably. Considering the fact that as he gets more and more powerful as an alchemist, it's becoming harder and harder for him to deal with the fact that he becomes so much more different in his altered state. And it's getting closer and closer to the point where the second mentality is starting to separate itself from his normal consciousness. I think he's probably spent the past 3 hours just trying to collect himself as people deal with things, as things happen. He did throw an intimidate check in there at one point, so I mean it's getting more difficult to deal with, and eventually it's going to come to a head when he's going to have this split personality going on. Really, it's just him gathering himself, trying to keep his personas together.
Fair enough. Alrighty, take your hero point as I roll a d3 and get a 1. So Jar already went, Van already went. Donald! Lucy is in character, reflection
Okay.
for the hero point.
What is going through her mind at the moment? She is happy that everyone got what they wanted, but she is not pleased how things went. To the best of her abilities, she's going to try to honor that side of the deal, to actually try to speed things up a bit, and to help the party out achieve their goals. Lucia took a gamble, aiding Poe out to a certain extent, and she will see through to help Poe out in some areas and to make sure Cheliax maintain its power to the best of her ability as the outsider power, in a way. She may be disowned, she may be a traitor to her homeland, and her family disown her, but she is still going to care for her homeland still. So Lucia is in between a hard place and a rock, trying to come to terms with everything that just happened.
Fair enough. Alrighty, take your hero point, sir, and we're going to do even Sarah, odds Kane. Even Sarah. Sarah, a character reflection for your hero point. I can't mute my mic when I say you have the floor, but you have the floor.
Okay. Emeritus has to deal with the fact that he has a bounty on his head now, and that's, I mean, he probably has for some time, but it's just kind of like hit him because he's dealing with somebody who knows how much that is, and then he's kind of like coming to the realization that he's gonna have to face that one day, like face his past, and it's all gonna come to a head one day, and he knows that. So more interpersonal conflict. Woo!
Yep, that's how that works. Take your hero point, and Kane, take us home. The old man who murdered a bunch of street thugs with rocks.
Yeah, you died, man.
I died.
Beep boop beep.
Okie dokie. The prince is gone now, and I'm not sure all the concerned parties got what they wanted out of the exchange, but I figure there's not really anything for it now.
We'll take it. Everybody has their hero point, and like I said, about 3 hours have passed. It's perhaps like 6 in the afternoon-ish, somewhere in there. You guys have the floor.
Are we back at...
You
Or are we
guys
stuck in
are
Absalom?
Enterling's token.
So
The
we
entire
made it back.
party's right here. You guys at the very end were teleported back by a strange drunken kitsune who immediately just like teleports right back away from you.
Oh, that's right.
So Zoella's gone now.
Yeah, she is gone.
Oh darn.
What an interesting person.
What an interesting person.
Interesting individual.
Hey, big guy, did we miss anything while we were gone?
No, not really.
Everybody make a perception check real quick, actually.
So something did get missed.
It'll depend on the natural ones. Oh, Donald was real fast there. Donald knew I was going to ask for a perception check. He just, I'm ready.
Well, you did say it, and I had my microphone ready.
Oh, fair enough. Alright, I see half of us. No one's
Hold on.
under that 20.
Hold on.
Generally, on Roll20s, if
Just you wait.
I make macros for everything that I use a lot.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Holy mac.
Here we go.
Holy mackerel! There's a Pogue. There's a Francis.
Jeez, oh, you got a lot of perception.
What do you roll?
I do.
22.
Captain Caskets. So there's like 3 11s, and that's the magic number. Anyway, so you guys all noticed Enterling probably just kind of like comes aware. Well, everyone who rolled an 11. So Enterling, Sarah, Emeritus, and Lucia probably around the time that like Xandu, Francis, and Pogue realized that the Tien woman with rainbow hair has disappeared. like Pogue and Francis and Zandu begin to remark on it, and this is around the time that like especially Enderling, who's been here for a few hours, it kind of like dawns on like where'd she go, that kind of thing. The same is true as you begin to look around for. We didn't talk about him a whole lot, but there was that little goblin with the plate mail and the holy armor, and the little goblin in the plate mail with the holy armor, and sorry about that. The little goblin with the plate mail and the paladin's armor, and the bartender and the alchemist who had tieflinged out before you guys, they've all disappeared.
So we do not know how they disappeared, actually.
You don't, when I say disappear, I don't mean like poof, gone. I just mean like they are no longer in the forest with the rest of your forces.
Well, we ask around.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, but I asked the scouts, hey, scouts, y'all are supposed to be good at scouting out. Where'd these people go?
Okay.
Nice.
Very diplomatic.
They have no idea. Everybody just starts to like confer with each other, and you see again a lot of the women speak in sign language, and like make a sense motive, Pogue. I need to close Discord when I'm GM. Okay.
25.
So
well, no, you're using Discord. Just
I need to close Discord. I need to minimize Discord. Anyway, Pogue can pick up around the time, like, anytime your scouts might be referring to anyone who is male, or, like, more specifically, anyone who is male and not from the area, like, they don't, like, go as far as to point and laugh, but you can tell they become kind of like the butt of jokes, and then one of them turns to you and they inform you that they haven't seen any of these people leave.
Okay. But they're telling the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tommy, if we were to locate where they went, if I already did, I already did pick my my spells per day. So if I used like 15 minutes, could I change some of my spells out to use the locate object spell to find them?
You could change them out, give it an hour if you were a cleric or druid, but for a wizard, you'll need the full 8 hours rest.
Ugh, what a shame.
So, do we care where they went? It wasn't our original goal before we got sidetracked by your cousin to to find the stragglers and help them across the border? I mean, we were held up with the prince, but now that we're not, shouldn't we be moving again?
It's a thought. Again, your guys' original goal was pretty open-ended. Like, the whole, like, find stragglers and get them to Casmeron thing was just kind of like, that's a vague what is going on in this part of the world right now. But
Right.
You guys have a pretty high degree of autonomy here.
Pogue looks over at Xandu and says, "Hey, man, you look kind of like really agitated, like you need to get laid or something." But
Uh-oh.
so what's this dream? The Emmy deal? What? How do you get there? What is it?
So what do I know about like getting there physically? Because I know I can get there by dreaming.
Knowledge Arcana, as I quickly bring up a
Gotcha.
tab to figure that out myself.
I know that you could use spell to teleport to another plane, so that's one way, but I'm going to roll Knowledge Arcana.
Well, that.
You're never getting there.
That's better.
So what do I know with a 28 Arcana?
Well, the hero point is used, so Xander doesn't think he has to kill the party or something to get him there. The Dimension of Dreams is a demi-plane, so any spell that will teleport people en masse from one plane to another will get you there. Also, both of you know that the Dimension of Dreams is entered by everybody when they're sleeping. Xandu knows that Xandu is able to speak in the third person, I guess. Xandu knows that he is able to enter the Dimensional Dreams fully because his psychic bloodline is just kind of it's natural for him. Everybody else would need to, there might be some kind of psychic spell somewhere that helps people get there. Otherwise, you're looking at planar travel to enter there bodily and not just, in the form of the dreams you have.
Oh, Pogue, it's another demiplane, and everyone, including you and I, go there when we sleep. But in order to enter fully, you need to either be psychic or travel through the planes in one way or another.
So is your girlfriend like a dream then?
She's more like a daughter, for starters.
Magpie shows up and is pissed off.
How dare you!
Like, whoa, okay, sorry about that. But yeah, okay, so your daughter, she's a dream?
She wasn't originally, but she sort of become one, I suppose. Where she is on the border of Lang. And that is not a place that anyone wants to go to.
You guys do still have the floor.
I'm going to roll a knowledge roll to know what I know about Lang.
Get some of this.
So would that be a planes check?
Yeah, planes is fine. I might let Arcana go as well. Either or.
So 30 planes.
30 knowledge of the planes. Okay. You know that some people say that Lang is part of the Dimension of Dreams. Some people think the Dimension of Dreams is a road that one takes to get to Lang, and they're not they're only connected that way. But that's about it. Other than the fact that the place is really, 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 really bad. Leng, Lang, Pug. But basically, what I said is what you know. It's a very bad place to be. It's very you rolled a 30. You assume sometimes, and when I say sometimes, it's a 1 in a million. But sometimes if someone who's in perfect health should just happen to whoopsie die in their sleep, you might assume that something from Lang crawled into their dream and killed them. Kind of think a Freddy Krueger style kind of thing.
So if we do go to Lang, could we go through the multiverse and through the different planes to get there eventually? Is that one way for us to get there?
There goes Lucy and her multiverse theory.
Yeah, I am just figuring we have a multiverse merchant with us, so why don't we use that as the asset to help you out?
You could definitely buy a scroll of
Gate.
Yeah, Gate, that's the one. And
or planar shift.
That one, yeah, either of those, and you could get there.
That's each plane shift. Is that I think it's
those are both divine spells. Good luck.
Yeah, I can cast that. It just would be very difficult for me, as it's a high-level spell.
Yeah.
Also sounds mighty expensive.
It is a couple thousand for a level 7 or 8 spell, I believe. Just for a single scroll format, so it's doable if we choose to take that route.
And we need 2.
Yeah, the one gate spell is just to get you from here to there. You'd have to get back, and also you would know that go into any extra dimensional place that might be bad. I'm going to underline the bad. This is not the GM, like, don't do this. If you want to do it, do it. I'm not going to stop you. But, like, there will be serious consequences if you were to go to Lang and just kind of, like, traipse around there.
Yeah, the goal is not to get to Lang, because she last was seen, like, on the border between the Dimension of Dreams and Lang. So,
Well, that's good.
So we go to the Dimension of Dreams. So can you still talk in your sleep?
yes, but it's been a while since I've gotten any sleep. Last time I saw her was before we took the prince. Well before then.
So I'm all good with hunting her, like looking for your daughter. That sounds really kind of far away and dangerous. Any chance that maybe we could help out the innocent defenseless here first and then?
I mean, in
Go off on
reality,
that?
it's really not that far away.
Well, it just sounds far away.
As easy as dreaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as
If we do, if and when we do go to the other side to rescue her, we need to make sure we have the resources ready to get out of there quickly. We don't want to get stuck on that side of the plane. I remember reading stories of planewalkers getting stuck on the other side, and it wasn't pretty for them. At least from what I heard about the stories.
Does he have
reading them.
food?
You bad, so
You're indeed correct.
could go get food
At
from
least
them.
I can travel to the Dimension of Dreams fully in my sleep.
Yeah, if you would. 'cause
That
that's
might
probably
be
what's
enough to
bugging us
keep
is-
tabs on where she's at and alert me of anything more pressing than it is right now.
With your connection, me and the healers, we can get a exact location eventually, so we can have a safer and a secure journey there to get a more of an accurate location when we do go there eventually.
It depends on if she's still in the same spot when we go back into the Dimension of Dreams.
Yeah, one thing, like, it doesn't take a very high knowledge check to know that time across, well, all of you would know because all of you were in a prison demiplane for a while. Time across the planes is really wibbly wobbly. So Xandu talked to Emmy, I believe, like 4 days ago, something like that. It might have been just.
Tried to talk to her, but she couldn't hear him.
It might have been like 2 or 3 seconds in the Dimension of Dreams, or, like, for all you guys know, it could have been decades.
So time for other plane, it is a non-existent saying to try to get a accurate time, pretty much.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
So she could be like old enough to be your mom now?
In theory, potentially. I'm not all that familiar with how different planes and times work.
Yeah, a lot of you are just saying words, and all I'm hearing is blah 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 blah.
But I'm with Tree Boy.
It's okay. Let the scientists talk about it. The scientists and the weird fortune teller person.
If we do go there, we need to make sure we are prepared, as we need to do this right the first time.
Real quick, Tommy. This was a while ago, but this guy who's sort of running the rebellion, who gave us all the marks on our hands, what was his name again?
Well, you guys like to call him Mufasa, but his name is Mustafa. He is he's a redeemed Ifrit. He doesn't like lead the cult of the Dawnflower, but he's a high-ranking member. Member is probably the wrong word because it's kind of maybe a little less loosely affiliated now that there's a war on, but it's not as organized as like the actual Church of Sarenrae.
Perhaps Mustafa did promise to help me if I aided with the rebellion. So perhaps now would be a good time for me to call upon him to follow through with that.
You could.
He's already done a lot for us, though. We might need to prove ourselves a little bit more with him, considering he's already given us a valuable little cash injection.
And with that, we did make sure that Cheliax will not be part of this war.
Yes, we did do that. You are correct, but I mean, Cheliax is going to be giving support no matter what. There's going to be people joining in and volunteering no matter what. They aren't going to want this to happen.
True, but at least we don't have an army of Hell Knights to worry about.
I'll give you that.
The contract is a little fuzzy if you guys remember on Cheliax cannot put boots on the ground in Qadira in terms of its armed forces, but there was nothing saying it couldn't send advisors or open a gate to hell and start flooding the place with devils.
Never pay for a mercenary army.
Devils don't wear boots.
They can if they want to.
I don't think we think anything. I don't think anything's been decided. Let's get out of the forest.
We have to.
We have to, says the guy who worships the trees.
And give you a new Wolfie promise. We'll find you a bigger forest, a better forest. We'll find you the biggest forest we can.
That'll be huge.
Make the forest great again.
Make the forest great again!
Every forest I'm in is a great forest. Thank you.
Maybe once we get to a nice forest, I can make you a crown made out of wood, and you can have a ceremony to become the king of the forest, and you can have a forest bride.
That's super weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's weird.
But you're freaking me out.
Don't marry a tree.
Or do.
It's a child thing.
In Cheliax, they all like to marry trees.
Well, yeah.
Enderling is with shit, I can't remember his name. Francis. He is with Francis on this. I am with Francis on this. There's a river nearby. I'd rather just be splashing around in the river right now. But I think we really need to get to a city where we can have some contact with messengers and a system of information coming in and out.
Alright, fine. I agree with Enderling.
So we get the. So
That sounds
can
like
we
a solid
find
plan.
we find the refugees and get them to safety?
Yes.
Okay.
There are refugees.
Remember?
No, I've been spending the past few hours back in this little forest here, gathering myself, if you will.
You haven't, there was no last session, here are some refugees, ho-ho! But that was, again, the initial, you get dumped in the sandbox and, hey, maybe this is happening, that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, if there are people here that need help, we should do some helping, because as far as we know, Emmy, your daughter, is either she's aged into a pile of dust in the realm of dreams already, or it's been about 3 minutes. We have other things to deal with right this second.
We do have the Kandirians to deal with still. If we're going to get any additional resources to get to the plains to rescue your daughter, we need to deal with the Kandirians. That would be the best way to ensure more resources and to convince him to help you out more.
Zandu sort of stops for a moment. He looks kind of lost it. He goes, fine, but we should be swift in our dealings.
There you go.
Alrighty. So I'm pretty sure that just Joe has control of that token. Yeah, only Joe can control that token, but that token represents all 1,006 of you, unless you guys want to split up or do anything. Let's roll another d4. I like doing that. That's fun. Okay, so I'm gonna say an hour passed as you guys are sitting here talking about what to do. So now it's from where you guys are in the tree line, it's probably fully dark. you guys know in about like an hour or so, it's going to be everywhere where the sun directly shines will be dark out.
Let's head to town. Please.
To Demir?
Yes.
All right. So if we go there, 2 hours pass. Is that party consensus? Is that what we're doing?
Yep.
Sure, it's just the
Fine with that.
party,
It's
right?
Small little town.
Okay. Do you guys want to leave the army where you left them?
I'll bring them with us.
We should take them back to the town.
All right. So as you guys start marching through the tree line, pretty much everybody breaks out a torch or a sun rod, or like maybe your like lieutenants or something might have continual flame cast on their swords, and they like slap it against their hilt, and then it like illuminates so you guys can see what you guys are doing. When you reach Dimir, it is about 10 p.m. Make a perception check, everybody.
Man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm just waiting on a pogue. I think.
You're waiting on a pogue, sorry.
Waiting on a pogue.
Yeah, you gotta save us. We're rolling 4s and 5s here.
Jesus.
Somebody rolled all
I
right.
rolled-
Sarah rolled all right.
I rolled a 2.
Okay, so you guys get to Dimir, and like as I'd said when you guys were here, well, when Van was here before, the city is a mess. You can tell that there's been a lot of heavy fighting going on here, and like buildings had collapsed the last time you guys had come through. Now it's even more so. Like the town is almost not recognizable as a town, and there are bodies all over the place that weren't here last time you were here. Almost all of them are allied forces. Almost all of them have that like rainbow tassel hanging from their spears. Let's let the percentage dice decide. Okay.
Are there any locals left?
Among the bodies, you guys find that goblin. I'm gonna roll a d4. How many important people died? D4. Okay, just the goblin. His little body broken, his plate mail caved in, where like you imagine he turned the corner and then suddenly like 4 or 5 musket balls just like collide with his chest. His sarissa is broken in the ground.
Dang.
Sarissa.
The sarissa is a Macedonian spear made popular by Alexander the Great's phalanxes, and in Pathfinder, it's a spear with a threat range of a 15-foot cone.
All right, Eric.
From the Giant
Calm
Hunter's
down.
Handbook. It's really good.
Wow, we hardly knew you, Goblin.
Oh, sad.
He didn't even speak common.
Oh, it's so sad.
I actually know Goblin, so I'm going to give him his last rites.
Okay. There's nothing.
Probably raises dead.
No, I'm
Animates
not.
dead.
I am not going to resurrect him.
Yet.
Dun, dun, dun.
Resurrect, in quotes, air quotes.
Out of game, I will eventually resurrect another undead, but not at this moment.
Aha!
Aha. He's waiting for like Mustafa.
Nope. I have a certain undead I'm going to make at the higher levels. I
Okay.
just need the resources.
Alright.
So I get the last goblin. It's his last rites.
You see, like, all of your priests begin to go through the rituals involved to bring somebody back from the dead. A lot of diamonds get brought out and crushed, but the spells seem to be ineffective. All of the medics begin to, like, whisper startledly amongst themselves. Startledly is not a word, but you get the idea. You guys, a couple sessions back, had seen the Taldor army that crossed the border was chasing the rebels across the bridge and, like, up this way. You imagine they caught up to him in Dimir, or, like, the rebels decided to make a last stand there, and it didn't seem to pan out. Like, for every, like, 10 or 11 allied bodies, you might come across a member of the Taldor phalanx, but it's, like, it was a massacre for your side.
So, where do you see any tracks leading out of Dimir? And if so, which way are they
Yes.
going?
Okay.
Towards Ligo?
It is 10 o'clock at night, So I will say, normally you would not have to roll survival for this, but since like you're viewing everything from like the light cantrip or people's torches, go ahead and roll survival.
Everyone?
Anyone who wants to look. Specifically, I am calling on Xandu, because that's who I heard make the suggestion. The survival checks are... you guys get the feeling that from, like, this direction, there had been more troops moving, like, from the border with Taldor, and this is kind of like, it looks like Allied forces got caught, like, between a rock and a hard place, essentially, here. There's no, like... tracks leading out, it's a little more complicated because, like, there are so many tracks going all over the place, and from where you guys are standing now, you wouldn't be able to, like, get a definitive, like, oh, a bunch of people went this way. You might find, like, the odd, like, set of tracks running, like, outside of town, and then you turn the corner and there's somebody's body with a spear stuck through it. But there's nothing decisive as to where, like, major powers went.
It is a shame that the healers do not have any of the bloodseam cleric spells to listen to what people's last thoughts were to gather more information, because that's such a useful thing to have at the moment.
Yeah, druids don't have anything like that either.
Is the goat Tommy back? Non-goated?
The goat Tommy's been back and non-goated for a while, I hope.
Okay, so what did we get on the tracks leading out of Demir?
Did none of that come through when I was talking about it?
I don't think so.
No, we got most of it.
Okay.
Second, so that's why.
Oh, I see. Okay, so lots of people dead. Looks like there might have been, like, they got caught between two armies, like, here, and they were just, like, taken out, essentially. There are no conclusive tracks anywhere. You would have to look further. Any tracks that you see looking like they go away from the town just end in, like, here are a, like, jumbled up bunch of corpses.
The bodies that we found, the Rainbow Teen woman, do we find her among the dead, or is she alive still?
You don't find
To the
her
best of
among
our-
the dead. The only person you recognize is that little goblin.
This is the idea. How about we use the clerics to use their divination power to try to locate the teen women or any of the survivors that we know of in this group?
Okay. Yeah, sure, we can, I'll have them roll percentage dice to see how that pans out for them.
Tommy, for future sessions, are you okay with me just leaving empty slots open for my withered spell so I can just prepare another one in a hurry if I need to?
Yeah,
Busy
yeah,
time.
that's fine. You can do that. The clerics begin the, like, rituals involve rituals is the right word. The clerics begin the rituals to scry somebody, and they fail. They aren't sure why. Maybe she has been mind blanked somewhere. Maybe there's, like, maybe she's got too much lead between her and, like, the sky, essentially, so she can't be scryed. It all comes up just kind of like a big blank. The clerics continue perplexed.
We should make sure Fort Lygos is safe.
Alright, here's a long shot. Can I ask Oleg to talk to the plants?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I forgot he
Nice.
did
Be
that.
my translator.
Are there any other animals close by
There are not.
besides?
Mm-mm.
Really quick, do any of the Taldan soldiers, you said muskets were involved here. Are there any of their soldiers carrying muskets lying on the ground?
Let the percentage dice decide. They're not. The only muskets
They're
you find, laying around, like, on the ground, you might find one or two, like, broken in half.
Okay, I will take. What I'm actually looking for are just the soldiers that would carry them.
Okay, yeah, you can find those.
Do they have any of their ammunition on?
we will let the percentage dice decide again.
Actually,
Oh baby.
You
All
found
the
a whole
ammunition.
shitload.
Somebody
You found
had
a
like
little pamphlet
Vorpal
that tells you
gunshot.
how to make it.
I'm dead.
He's got Vorpal buckshot. Somebody's head flies off.
Several people's heads fly off.
Everybody's heads fly off in a 15-foot cone.
Tommy, this
Oh jeez.
I don't know
Air
any
horns
of the
go
magic items off the top of my head, like any like magic ammunition, but you definitely somebody has a very
Okay,
full pouch of ammo.
what about fireball bullets?
I'm not gonna go that far. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sometime between here and next week I will go through the book and I'll try to find something because it has 100.
Okay.
I don't want to just like, oh, that was spell storing and flick spell. I can do better than that.
I
Tommy,
wish to take them.
this is a crazy idea, but is it possible with the clerics to use the location spells to locate where the army went, or is that outside the cleric's power to use their divination power for that purpose?
The clerics try to scry which army?
The musket army. We are
The bad guys.
the bad guys.
Okay, so they begin the ritual again, and it fails because mind blanking the soldiers in Taldor isn't like it's pretty common to prevent this kind of thing. But somebody has the bright idea to try to scry, like we'll say, somebody's horse, and it pans out for them. Let me see. I gotta count the squares here. They appear to
Tommy,
be
I'm going to pick up a musket, broken musket.
Got it. It's not broken as per like the condition. It's broken.
Yeah,
as in,
I
like, it
understand.
hasn't been usable.
I understand.
Hey, so Pogue looks at him and says, "Hey, big guy, do you just want a working musket?"
Do I just want to? I mean, I would. A working musket would be fine. I simply want to break these down and figure out how they work.
Oh, well, I have a working musket.
Power.
I have a working musket. Do you want it?
Yes.
All right, you now have a musket.
Excellent. Thank you.
Tommy, among the dead, is it just martial type of soldiers only?
What kind of soldiers are? Nah, there's Peace Corps soldiers as well.
The Peace Corps soldiers are your healers.
I am just figuring out what type of if there are casters among the group, if I can find any Wither's tomes or such among the corpses.
You imagine, yeah, there's probably a couple. It's more of like less looting the soldiers' bodies and more like here was like a elf arcanist or something that decided they were going to join the rebellion and they didn't make it. That kind of thing. Specifically, what is the highest spell level you can cast, Donald?
Level 3 at the moment,
Okay.
but I could just add it to my Wither's tome later.
What I'm going to do is you can cast level 3. I'm going to roll this d4. There are 4 level 3 spells that you do not know in that tome.
Cool.
Easiest way to solve that one. As far as those bullets go, I don't like those that much. We can find something better. Maybe. What is that? Oh my god. There's a bullet that you can fire out of a blunderbuss and it turns into like a swarm of scarabs. That's terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's what you get. Let's take a look at that. That's sweet. It's better than the bullet that like fairy fires somebody. This small brass cylinder is inscribed with the symbol of a honeycomb, and a faint buzzing sound can be heard from within. A swarm bullet can be loaded into a weapon with the scatter weapon quality, such as a blunderbuss, which is not a musket. Like, I need to tell Joe that. But anyway, as though it were ammunition, when fired, the weapon produces a wasp swarm that immediately moves to attack the nearest living target in a 15-foot cone. The wasp swarm acts on the shooter's turn each round, pursuing the closest living creature for 3 rounds or until destroyed. Should the weapon misfire while loaded with a swarm bullet, the swarm instead angrily emerges from the weapon and pursues the wielder. Yeah, we'll say that's what you find.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds fun. It's like in a Fruity bottle, but with wasps.
Okay. I wish to break down its alchemical components right here on the spot.
Oh,
Alright,
shit.
make a check.
Oh, no.
Alright,
Boom!
what am I gonna do?
Breaking out the big guns for Enderling.
Oh yeah.
How about he The ingredients talk to him to tell him everything.
No, what? No.
No, that'd be shitty.
That'd be terrible. Here's the answer to the puzzles, but your magic item is gone. Haha. Yeah. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that. And Joe might feel a little cheated on this one, but when Enderling breaks down the bullet, he screws up at some point, and like the buckshot of bees, I get that's weird, but that's what it is, pours out of the casing onto the ground, and they animate, and they all they start off really angry as they are wont to do, but then Pogue's wasp intercedes, and they have like 5 minutes of like Bender from Futurama. Bzzz, back and forth like that before like they begin to just like kind of fall in formation behind Pogue's familiar, for lack of a better way to say it. Mechanically speaking, we'll say I'm going to look at the spell Summon Swarm and see if that is a spell. I imagine that's a spell. Let's take a looky-loo here. That's a spell. It is... Okay, yeah, sure. So we'll say mechanically what happens is Enderling can add Summon Swarm, but bees, not bats or rats or spiders, like as a bonus spell that he knows. And the wasps are going to follow Pogue's wasp around for... I'll roll for it. 1 day.
Cool.
So Enderling can now summon
A swarm.
A wasp swarm.
Swarm. Okay.
He adds that spell to his list of formula.
And I have a swarm following me around for a day.
Yes. Because of the intercession of your little bug friend.
Poe, I guess you have a bit of a harem now, but it would be insects.
Yeah. You know, I try not to catch anything, and look what I get. Oh. All right.
So,
I'm sure that
what about
Calistria will be
horse
happy.
cry?
The horse, let's see if they can figure out exactly where. Yeah, alright, the dice are falling pretty good for y'all today. The horse seems to be, like, set up in a little, like, makeshift stable somewhere inside the fort.
And it's one of the opposing horses.
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we don't want to go.
Can you close your other Chrome tab, please?
I have.
So,
You just did. As open as Google.
Yeah, because I was trying to.
isn't the fort where we came
Not
from
now,
the
we're
place that we were
having
trying to
problems.
protect?
Yeah, you get the feeling that's the case.
That maybe it's
Okay.
not anymore.
Yeah, you get the feeling, like the only fortified region in the area is now in enemy hands.
Uh-oh.
Well, fuck.
I did hear something about...
Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity!
Watch your profanity.
I just found out about that meme like a week ago. It's still great. But anyway, I did hear something about a commune with plants that I never heard anymore.
Yeah. I get it.
But you only have it with gourds.
Is it only with guard? Is there a pumpkin field around
Is
here?
there a pumpkin field?
Good old Turkish pumpkins.
Yes. There is not.
Damn. Well, it's been a day. I haven't prepped any of my spells. I could cast Speak with Plants.
You could indeed.
How about I do that? What does the corn know?
Was the corn? I don't know what the corn knows, but there's definitely a bunch of, like... Again, this is like an arid grassland, so there's plenty of, like, you're probably just, like, down on your knees whispering at the grass, and then the wind, like, blows in, like, a funny direction, and the grass, like, whispers back into your ear, and it goes back like that.
Beep, beep, beep.
Pretty much.
Does it tickle?
It probably tickles.
Oh.
I don't know how that spell
Rolling
works.
percentage dice to decide whether or not it tickles.
No, I'm not, Sarah.
Uh,
What I'm doing is I'm looking up Speak with Plants to see how far...
You can communicate with normal plants and plant creatures. You can ask questions of and receive answers from them. A normal plant's sense of its surroundings is limited, so it won't be able to give or recognize detailed descriptions of creatures or answer questions about events outside of its immediate vicinity. The spell does not make plant creatures any more friendly or cooperative than normal. Furthermore, wary or cunning plant creatures are likely to be terse and evasive, while the more stupid ones make inane comments. If a plant creature is friendly, it may do some favor or service for you.
Okay, fair enough. You have the ear of the grasses, I suppose. They don't say anything, but they don't say anything because grass is not the smartest of the plants, because again, it's all just there's no convenient grass elemental just buried in here. You get the feeling you can get simple answers from these things, limited to almost pretty much what stepped on the grass, but you think you can figure something out.
Yeah. Oh, bugger.
Oh, booger. Watch your profanity.
This is why I don't speak to... Where are the trees? Did the trees see anything?
There are no trees actually in Demir. The tree line begins
excuse
pretty
me.
far off.
Sir.
Why did it have to be grass?
While on the Discovery Channel, Melvin looks above and look at one of the party members. While I need to do this right. Okay, so Melvin is in the sky and looking at a party member talking to the plants. Back in Gorda Whisperer, we see a party member talking to a bunch of plants. Let's listen to the conversation.
Have your Raven make a reflex save.
Uh-oh.
Just kidding. Don't actually make a reflex save. I'm kidding. But yeah, the grasses begin just you get the feeling they're waiting for questions from you, Kane.
I need, what came through here? There's the people that live here, right? There's the normal feet, and then there were different feet. I need to know about the different feet.
Okay.
Tell us about their feet, please.
What were their toes like?
They were gross. You get...
Was it smooth, precious?
No!
Took it too far!
Okay, so you get just kind of comments on God, I can't flavor this anyway at all without it being bad now.
Tell me about their cuticles. I need to know.
You get basically the idea is lots and lots of heavy booted feet have come through here. The occasional hoofed feet, the occasional the grasses go on to describe a gigantic paw print kind of thing.
Is that the dog?
Not the dog, no. Though you could probably find Mercutio's dog somewhere carrying that wagon, and he too would leave gigantic prints.
Mostly foot soldiers, not a lot of horses. One real big something.
What about the war cat tracks?
You get the feeling that the big strange tracks they describe are probably that, though it's not outside of the realm of possibility that there might be somebody else out here who has some kind of giant monster companion. That's the only one you've seen so far.
Well, so it sounds like some of our people definitely got out. How far they got, I don't know, but people got out.
That is a logical conclusion.
Pug gets down on his knees and looks at the grass and says, "So which way did they go?"
Okay.
Does speak with plants affect everyone?
Nope. Francis repeats it. Weird.
What? I'll do that. Thank you.
The grass is confused. The grass, people went in a lot of different directions.
The big cat, the big thing. Where did he go?
The big thing?
The big thing with the weird paws.
The big thing with the weird
That
paws.
thing. Stupid plants. The big thing.
The one that killed most of you. The one that crushed. The one that
The
crushed most
lawnmower.
of your. The one.
And
The
Francis
metal
has
death
to
chariot.
say this over and over.
No, that's getting vetted. I'm not repeating all of that.
We'll say it this way.
The last thing I need to do is piss off a bunch of prairie grass.
Well, yeah, right. Unless
They
you're
are
a
many, and
dog.
we are few.
There they stand.
Whoop-de-doo.
We did it.
Oh no.
So what? The cat went south,
Yeah.
and what's in Shabashir?
That is, again, that's just kind of a terrible little farming community. You guys never quite. Well, you did get there. That's where the prince was.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible little farm community that sits halfway close to this mine. This is a mithril mine.
Oh boy.
And like that town just happens to sit close enough again to where people like once a year they'll make a lot of money in trade, and a lot of traders will come through, and during that time everybody basically blows all their money on alcohol, and like the process of poverty repeats itself in this terrible little town in Kadira. You guys were there long enough to know it was unoccupied, and that like that's where the prince was hiding out.
Oh, this would be easier with mushrooms.
How
How far away can you tell things?
What?
I'm not talking to you.
He's talking to the grass. I'll roll percentage dice for it. The grass is confused.
apparently the glass book is
Their internet connection is about as good as
it's
mine
about
is
the other
tonight.
glass is
Nice.
So we have a couple of options. We
How
could.
good's your networking? Alright.
Have you set up a LinkedIn yet?
Oh.
Damn it!
Let Colin go. Colin has productive things to say.
So, a couple of options. We could return to Fort Lygos and try to take it in the night while everyone is still resting, or we could take advantage of this opportunity and go to the mine and take the mine before the armies have a chance to return there. But we might be able to expect some resistance either way.
So if we take the mine, to what purpose? We're not-
Mithril.
To have a fortified hold in the area.
but who are we going to give it to? You mean we're staying here?
Yeah, we would have to be we would have to be the holding fires.
For now,
Yeah,
we would have to leave some troops behind to guard it.
like all of them. We
Yeah.
don't have a lot.
Which would be a more defensible location?
That sounds like a knowledge check to me.
Between where and here?
No, between you're talking about Fort Lygos and
I mean, I don't think it's exactly a knowledge check. I think it's just a logical, like, assumption we can reach that the
I am still calling for a knowledge check. Thank you.
uh,
Okay, so
props for making an engineering check, though, huh?
yeah,
Come
I'm gonna say they're both about like equal-ish. Like the fort isn't like it's an old throwback from when like Taldor was conquering Kadira. It's essentially just a wooden wall surrounding like where people would set up tents. So like
Okay.
you don't have any cover from the air. You don't like if the Taldans were to roll in a bombard, it wouldn't be hard for them to just rip that wall to shreds, and there's nothing preventing them from just like teleporting in. Though same is true of the mine. Like with the last mine you guys were in, you're not sure how deep that one goes, and like the last one you were in was so like it was dug so deep that there was a not a portal, it's an entrance to the Darklands. That may be the same case there. Obviously, you would be safe from anything coming from above, but like people could still
teleport in.
People could still teleport in, and then there's also the issue of like what might be in that mine and what not to Lord of the Rings it, but like what you might disturb by going there with 1,000 and like 6 or 7 people.
ball rag.
The ball rag.
Ball rag.
Ball gag. What?
And I'm really starting to wonder why we're no longer the superior force in this area. Why are we trying to think
That's what I'm saying. Why aren't we getting people out of here?
No, that's not at all what I'm thinking. Why aren't
There's
we?
no fucking people.
Yeah, why aren't we? Why aren't we setting up to where we can a war of attrition, if you will? It's a basic idea. Someone marches into the desert; they're not going to be able to support themselves. It's clear that the enemy has the superior firepower and not necessarily numbers, maybe, but firepower and technology, if you will.
So where are their supply lines or something?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, and it's going to sound radical, but I'm saying we break up into smaller units and conduct covert warfare.
I thought you got upset at Pogue for doing that, for scouting ahead before.
Yes, but that was when we had an actual army. Now we're just 1,000 dudes.
If
We had 1,000 dudes before.
Yes, but we also had a fort. Now we don't have a fort. All we have are 1,000 dudes.
Do you think Fort Lagos, assuming it's not been burned to ash, could support itself during a siege for any length of time?
Based on the knowledge engineering check, again, it's just a wooden palisade with tents on the inside. It's more supported by, like, if you guys were to surround it, you get the feeling, if Imperial forces really wanted to hold it, they could teleport supplies in, or, like, their clerics can cast Create Food and Water, that kind of thing, or they might just, like, teleport back to Taldor.
Or if they're big enough, they just come out and kick our ass.
That's true as well.
See, we know this. Tommy's telling us about this, and Indring's not saying this, but he is saying the next thing I'm going to say. We know that they can do anything they please with their more competent magical abilities. So why are we trying to meet them on the battlefield when we should be attacking them where it hurts, where we can actually do damage?
Well, I'm not saying that we meet them on the field. I'm saying...
But we're talking about trying to find a fort when we should be making our own little places that are just hard to find.
Okay.
Andreling's thinking about his time when he read about the Sino-Japanese War in 1936, and now he's...
Okay, I am curious. So with the guns, if we make rust powder, would that make the gun not as useful? I'm figuring a way how we can foil their gun use, or make their gun not as to make their firearms not as effective. Or is it possible for the ammunition they have for us to put explosive ammunition when they fire? That bullet explodes and do damage effects like that.
Yeah,
I'm figuring out how we could sabotage their ammunition.
Yeah, that's possible. It's like you guys have little, like, bits and pieces of, like, what would remain of their ammo, and you guys can tell the ammo is it's alchemical in nature. So if it gets wet, it's not going to ruin it. These guys, like, in theory, if they were to march down to the bottom of the sea and attack, like, a merfolk village, they could with their firearms. There are spells definitely that can be used to mess with firearms, but, like, single target things versus a lot of people, you are sure that's not effective.
I've got a swarm of wasps.
He's got a swarm of wasps.
So, question: the alchemical ammunition. If we set it, is it possible to detonate it? So it could be like an explosion to detonate other ammunition close by.
Blow up the ammo dump.
Make a knowledge check.
Knowledge engineering, I believe.
Go for it.
I'll make a craft alchemy check.
Yeah, craft alchemy would work.
Okay.
Pogue's really not doing well.
So 33 craft alchemy.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, I'm re-rolling that.
It's a disabled device. It's well. Are you trying to disable the device?
No, if I wanna know how to disable the device, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can see. Pogue immediately tries to, like, mess with some of the ammo you have, and you guys hear a bang. Okay, so alchemical
Fingers
cartridges,
everywhere.
But he re-rolls.
and it's fine. He just goes bang really loud, and it freaks everybody out. He turns into Deadpool. There's a lot of different alchemical cartridges out there. The simplest of them being just like a mix of black powder and a bullet, like put in like a little terrible paper cartridge to facilitate faster loading. They are a little more unstable than the given round is, despite the fact that, again, like if these guys want to march to the bottom of the sea with their guns, it's doable. It stands to reason you could find an ammo dump, and it wouldn't take like more than a spark. You reckon in the right place would be enough to just like set the whole thing up?
So something like a fireball could work in theory.
Oh yeah, fireball would work hard. Even just like the spark cantrip is enough, or like light a torch, throw it in there.
I am curious. So for the bard, do they actually know the spark cantrip? Because I could probably make a scroll for Poe.
I know the spark cantrip. I don't.
I mean, I know it.
Andrew holds up his flamethrower.
He names it spark cantrip.
I'm sure that Poe could find a way to light something on fire.
So I'm thinking if Poe does go into their camp and detonate their ammo, where their ammo is, it's possible to make a alchemical device that have a delay fuse so you can get out in time and see the fireworks show.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing.
It's called the delayed bomb.
Yeah, I'm not sure what discoveries Enderling has taken, but Alchemist
Enderling is taking
the melee stuff.
Yeah, well, he's got feral mutagen and breath bomb and stuff. So, and he's got a vestigial arm. So
that we just never talk about.
You know, how much are you willing to bet that they have their ammo dump at the mine? If we covertly go in there, destroy the ammo, we have a chance of collapsing the mine and thus destroying their ammo and blocking the source of mithril at the same time.
I've rolled that percentage dice secretly.
That would work. We would cut off a resource for them and it's for their ammunition. Two advantages in our book so far. If we do go off in that direction.
It's a thought.
Like we have more than so we have to be. We can't just depend solely on destroying it at the mine.
Well, yeah, and they're just going to. We have to constantly do it. As we know, they're going to just continuously teleport in more equipment and things. So we're going to have to wear them out. It's really, I think, winning this war is going to be more of a denial that is
the war of
actual. Yeah, it's going to be a war of resource denial. If we can destroy the mithril mine, if we can destroy their ability, if we can continuously destroy their ammunition, if we can destroy infrastructure, then they won't be able to wage a war here.
It's a good thought.
Besides, what's the point of keeping a place with all of its infrastructure and all of its resources depleted?
Well, it is their country.
Worst case scenario, we could always do we could burn everything down, but that is worst case scenario if we need to do the scorched earth policy to destroy everything if we retreat.
Well, what is the worst case scenario? They can do anything they want. They have complete immunity to us. We can't take their forts. They can just teleport in more troops. We can't destroy all of their supplies. They can teleport in more supplies. If we burn down the forest, burn down the village, turn the people against them, destroy their bridges, destroy their roads, destroy their mines, they have nothing they want here and they'll have to leave. Then it's just us versus the king. Well, whatever they want to call their leader in this messed up land of sand
Satrap.
crud.
It would be a sultan.
A satrap. You met him. He's a satrap, and his name is Zerbistes III, and he wanted you to join his harem. You declined
Yeah,
him.
sorry.
And
I
now
would
he's a
never.
sultan.
He was too insulting to Lucia. So he returned.
Yeah, sorry. Lucia would never be part of a harem. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
Unless it was with Clark Gable.
Yeah.
You know her.
Or are we going to the mine?
I feel like Pogue would have the best chance at the mine, and as far as troops go, we should direct them elsewhere. Keep the infiltration to the mine small, so we can destroy any reserves they might have and collapse the mine.
Okay.
Shit.
Well, if you guys want to go anywhere right now, the army has had a few hours to rest while you guys were playing around in Absalom, so they can go for a little while, but they haven't had like a full 8 hours rest. So, and like especially you guys are probably all feeling pretty tired.
Yeah. Xandu is eager to get back to sleep as well, so he is talking and engaging in the conversation, but he is also trying to get the conversation to a conclusion.
Mm.
So, do we want to go to the mines?
That
I
seems
say-
like the best plan we've come up with so far.
Yeah.
I think the mine is one of our objectives at the
So I'm game to give it a shot.
We also need information as to where they have their gunpowder stored.
Like I
That's
said, I think the more people we have on our side, the harder it is it's going to be for them to get supplies.
So yes.
Well,
We also need like a lay of the land. It's entirely possible everything south of here has already been overturned and burnt.
That's fine, we just burn it more.
Do we know that, do we basically have a map sort of like this showing towns?
Yeah, you guys have this map. You see what you see. You don't know like the status of anything or what's been going on, but yeah, you see everything that you see.
So if everything to the south has been burned and we want allies, our best bet would be Kavari.
Kavari, like the Taldor border is like an hour north of where you guys sit, and each one of these hexes is an hour's travel. So like about 30 minutes from there, you guys would cross into Taldor.
Ah,
But Kavari's not in Taldor,
Right, that's correct. It's just like
so
it's the closest to the border.
do we have any disguises?
I have disguised self. That's about it.
You have how to disguise.
I can-
it.
So are we going anywhere tonight?
That is the question. Do you guys want to rest for the night?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, resting up would be a good idea.
Okay, so you guys rest for the night unless somebody like specifically says they like we go now.
I'm gonna start dragging bodies into like whatever the most complete building still is that's made out of wood.
Okay. That is doable. As you guys go to rest, Xandu, roll percentage dice.
Alrighty.
Roll to see if you enter REM sleep.
Pretty much, yeah.
58.
You do. It's not, again, like I say a million times, this is your bread and butter. It is not hard for you to enter the dimension of dreams, and pretty much every time you close your eyes to go to bed at night, you end up here. You don't end up in Varisia like last time. This time more of like again, I described it as kind of like going down the highway at night. There's little like pinpricks of light off on either side of you that you know are individuals that happen to be dreaming, but you kind of just like float in blackness.
Do I hear anything?
You do not, which isn't like that's not out of character.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I know.
all like
He's-
Emmy going Xandu, all that aside, it's usually pretty quiet here.
Okay. Xandu will return to the place where he last saw her, which is sort of on that edge there.
Okay, make a perception check.
Very average.
Very average. Did you roll a 10 and add 0? Okay, no, you didn't. Okay, so
Nope.
you get there. She is no longer there, but make a reflex save, would you?
16.
All right, let me grab the DC here. I forget what it is off the top of my head. I imagine the 16 fails.
Uh-oh.
Doodly-doo. Yeah, that fails. Okay, so you arrive where you were before. Emmy's gone. The thing she was tied down to is also gone. It's like as if somebody had just like dropped everything and moved like the earth essentially to like make this area go somewhere else, and now there's just like as if someone had installed like a little patch over top. You do notice a little too late. There's a little bit of spider web, and it like brushes up against your hand, and it's kind of like it kind of has the consistency, though it is cold. It has the consistency of imagine like butter and sugar mixed together. It's really sticky and like you feel like it should be warm, but it's really like cold as the grave cold. It's a little bit of effort for Xandu to get the stuff off of his hand. Other than that, you don't see or hear anything. It's really gross.
Does it? Nothing? No spiders come out? Pop out at me?
No spiders pop out at you. There's just a little bit of spider web.
Okay. So you said it looks like there's sort of a patch of ground that had disappeared.
Yeah, more or less.
The very earth was moved.
Mm-hmm.
Xandu is going to try and make a mental map of that patch of ground.
Okay, sure.
No, better yet, because this is the dimension of the dreams, and he is going to create sort of a similar overlay and zoom out and see if he can find a place where it would fit over perfectly.
Okay. You are
That
certainly
looks like-
capable of doing so. You don't really find anything like where it would fit exactly. It's kind of wibbly wobbly. When I say a patch, that's not like the most perfect analogy because the ground can like mold itself to suit. So it's kind of. You imagine like if you had a long time to dig around through here, you might be able to figure something out, maybe, but you're kind of like needle in a haystack here. Will everyone who is not Xandu make a perception check, please? Okay, so who rolled bad? Lucia probably is just like fast asleep, I guess. But everybody else, like you are stirred from your slumber as like it's not really violent. It's not really like dangerous or threatening, but like it sounds like Xandu is having a really, really, really bad nightmare. You can hear him. I imagine no one speaks Varisian in the party, but he's just kind of like almost screaming nonsense in Varisian. Like even not knowing the language, you can tell that that's probably not like a language. It's just that's the closest he's getting to it. And
Okay.
Colin, will you make a will save for me?
A will save. Oh
Will
boy.
save. The good news is it's probably his best save. The better news is you do pass. What did you roll on that to pass? I'm curious. Okay.
17.
Okay, so the night otherwise passes without much, unless somebody wants to like intercede on Xandu having a nightmare. Yes, no.
Well,
I mean, Xandu, he... I guess... Let's see what kind of skills I got.
Xandu is unaware of this happening. As far as Xandu
I know
is concerned.
he's unaware of this, but in the dimension of dreams that he's in, he is going to detect thoughts in the area to see if anything might have run off and might be nearby.
Okay. I will roll for it. The spell fails. You your mind brushes up against like the collective consciousness around you of people sleeping, and like there's kind of like almost like your mind brushing up against like a great black hole almost that you imagine is laying. Other than that, you don't get anything concrete. Sarah, you started to talk. Did you want to do anything?
I guess it would be a knowledge nature check
To what end?
to like figure out if it'd be a good idea to wake him.
That might be more like Arcana or the Plains.
Either's fine, I guess. I'll do Arcana.
Okay. You don't think like waking him up in the middle of the night would be the worst thing. He might not be the happiest about it. Because like you know he is like down to explore the dimension of dreams in his sleep to try to figure this out. But like
well, I guess in addition to this, is he in trouble?
you don't think so. You think like in trouble is the wrong word. It's a really bad analogy, but like he's not red light, he's yellow light. Do you understand?
Okay,
It's that kind of thing.
I'll let him, not to wake him, but put a comforting hand like on his shoulder.
Alright, he is very like it's a pretty warm evening, but like he's like covered in sweat. It's all gross and clammy.
Ew. Sorry, I don't want to touch it.
Sorry, I don't want to help you anymore. Does anybody else?
So, I guess what Xandu will do is you will sort of frantically search, not quite crossing into Lang, but along the border to see if he can hear Emmy calling out or something similar.
Okay, you hear nothing.
And that's for the whole night?
Yeah.
What else do I got here? How does space work in the dimension of dreams? Like, how does distance for spells affect that? Or if at all?
In terms of like if you wanted to cast fireball at somebody, that kind of thing.
Like if I were to use the spell message to try and reach her directly.
It's probably wibbly wobbly to say the least. Okay, it's a thought. You could do it. You would need some kind of like casting message and like pointing your finger out in front of you and spinning in a circle. You won't get her. You would need some kind of like you'd need to have a vague idea of where, but you get the feeling that the distance of message and like any other spell one might cast would be considerably altered by the dimension of dreams.
Got it. You said there was that spider web.
I did.
Was that like sort of underneath the fake patch, I guess, that was there?
Yeah, we can say that.
I am going to roll a knowledge arcana to see if I can identify it.
Okay, go for it.
Oh baby.
Oh baby. All right.
Woo.
Let me break some stuff out. I'm always about half prepared for my sessions because I know stuff like this is going to happen. Okay. In like vague whispers you might have heard from like traveling around the dimension of dreams, there's talk of this strange arachnid creature that no one has a name, but like by and large, like Xandu probably knows another psychic caster or two, maybe not like on a first name basis, and it's well and truly possible for Xandu, like if Xandu wanted to appear as anything else in the dimension of dreams, there's no spell to cast. You just kind of like you will it and it happens. Amongst these people that you have probably met, the entity is known as the Voidwalker, and
Wait, you're saying I've met this Voidwalker?
No. I'm saying like
that's what it's known as.
I'm saying you've probably met like other people who can enter the dimension of dreams as easily as you, and they speak sometimes of a creature known as, I said Voidwalker, but I should have said Voidweaver. It's a creature that like constantly toils to build things, and like it is arachnid, capable of building like massive cities and bridges that span the entirety of the dimension of dreams. But its creations seem to be fated to just like fade away into nothingness. It seems to exist both in the waking world and in the realm of dreams, embodying like the duality of existing only to contradict itself, I guess is the best way to word that.
Gotcha.
People talk about a very, very big spider. No one like has seen the Voidweaver. You've got like you've met like the one or two odd people who might have come to the dimension of dreams like, I'm gonna go fight this thing, and then you never hear from them again. You get the feeling that this Voidweaver might be involved.
Probably not. But do I get the feeling that it's probably not something it's not a good thing, it's like a bad thing? Like evil, good, etc.
You get the feeling, yeah, it's a... I mean, if you existed only to contradict yourself and everything you'd ever built ever just kind of falls in on itself, yet you continue to do so over and over and over and over again forever, it doesn't exactly lead to like a happy, chipper lifestyle. Mechanically speaking, you crit. Yeah, it is an evil creature. I will give you, because you crit, I'll roll a d4. I'll be nice. 3 more questions about it.
Oh, now that I have a cap, I gotta think carefully about my questions.
And none of the questions can be like metagame questions. Like, well, what is it, CR? How many experience points do I get if I solo it right now? And what does its will save?
Okay, let's see. Where would it have been most likely to take Emmy? That's 1.
Okay, Lang.
Okay. Do I know a whereabouts in Lang? And does that count as 2 before I ask again?
That counts as 2.
Okay.
You know, it's more of... It's not like a whereabouts in Lang so much as like go to Lang and this thing might find you, or you might be like brought before it.
Okay. And 3, what in the hells would it want with her?
That's a good question that I can't answer from easily looking at this. That is a very, very difficult question to answer, and this is not me just stalling for time. That is also true. A creature that exists to just like constantly contradict itself, it might not have a sane reason to want anything or anybody. It might just be random acts of something. It might be... I will go on to also say that this creature... you don't know anything on the concrete about it, but you know it has a cult on Galarion and across the multiverse. There are people that worship this thing as a god. And perhaps the cultists might have been like, hey, here's a sacrifice, that kind of thing. It's, I don't want to screw you over, but, like, there's no really good answer there, because there's no really good answer for something as, like, contradictory and probably, like, very insane.
No, hey, I got something out of that. I got that it has cultists and followers on Galarion, and probably in the Dimension of Dreams as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much time has passed, if I'm still borderline on waking up or not.
You probably are.
But the last thing he's going to do before he wakes up is sort of zoom out and pinpoint where in the Dimension of Dreams there might be some gatherings of cultists.
Okay. May the perception. May the percentage dice be kind to you. There are... It's really hard to say. You imagine it's more like if you were to show up here one night and just hang out for a night, you might be able to like suddenly see like a dozen people show up in the Dimension of Dreams, and maybe, just maybe, that's what you're looking for. Of course, they might be looking back, especially if they're doing like clandestine stuff in a demiplane. And also that might be any number of things, even like people who are close, like lovers, siblings, anybody who has a really, really close bond when they dream. They sometimes do, though very briefly, they do enter the Dimension of Dreams together, just for a little while. So it could also be something like that. It's kind of trial and error.
Gotcha.
So with that,
you know, he might have to talk to Enderling when he wakes up about getting some sleep drugs.
Just get some melatonin. Okay, so with that, the day passes, everyone is rested, everyone gets their spell slots back, and the board is yours. Technically, Joe controls the token, but again, every hex on the board is an hour.
Alright.
Oh, fuck.
Did you
She's
get all
in
those
Lang.
bodies?
I should also say,
into
yeah,
that?
Francis is capable of... there's a building well enough put together that you can store the bodies in it. Of course, that makes it sound a lot creepier than what you're trying to do, but...
What are you trying to do with all the bodies?
2 necromancers!
Is that Lucia paying
There's a
you?
creepy shit you can keep your bodies in.
No, the build like a house is just quicker than a funeral pyre.
Yeah, that is entirely true. So we're talking about setting a house on fire?
Yep.
Okay, that changes a little bit.
Ooh-wee!
What do you think I was gonna do?
I have no idea, I didn't hear, but that
Get
does,
them off the streets.
that changes a lot.
It puts the lotion on the skin. Like what?
Oh.
I'm gonna roll one quick percentage dice here. Not for
Will you guys
lotion or
stop talking about incest? I don't know what I missed, but
Okay, so what's going to happen is as soon as you guys wake up, you are well rested, but you wake up to the sound of... it kind of sounds like a lion roaring, kind of sounds... well, I don't know what an armadillo sounds like off the top of my... It sounds like leprosy, but a lion.
Is it the
An armored lion.
the war cat
and
thingy?
augurs on its back, and there's also the Tien woman has like fully composed herself and recovered from her wounds astride a horse. They ride up to you. as soon as they reach, well, it's been all night, and that's not the right token. I have too many orc tokens now. They reach where they're going, and as soon as they get there, Augruz begins like throwing water violently on what remains of the burning ashes. Just, you idiots! They know where you are now. We have to go now. And as he says this, he again he kind of grabs his mount almost by I guess it's a little less like he grabs his mount and more like his mount kind of grabs Augruz by what would be his nape, because this thing is so much bigger than he is, and it kind of just hoists him, and he climbs up the not chitinous but armored scales of it to get on its back, and he just begins running amongst the troops. Just, we have to go now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to point to Francis and say, "You mean you idiot?"
I will not apologize. I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
to
either.
leave these bodies here to rot in the street.
Gotta keep those streets clean.
Francis was a
good
janitor before he started adventuring.
It is a
The
good
druid
thing.
is essentially a janitor of the forest.
It is a good
There are
thing.
dirty streets in the forest.
It's a good thing that I have a cart, and a undead horse, so we could travel all night or all day, pretty much in theory.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do?
Let's head south. Let's make as much room as possible between us and them.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll percentage dice again, and we're gonna be super kind again. Okay, yeah. So you guys are you're able to organize the troops. You're able to get the supply train up and moving. Well, the supply train is one guy and a dog, so that's not that hard. But
Get the dog moving.
you're able to get that lazy dog up and moving, just about. I think I have a token. I have too many tokens hanging out in Roll20. I need to clean house. Also, I need to clean my actual house, but
There's Lucy's dad.
there we go. We don't need Lucy's dad. We need the token. Looks kind of bad, but that's just because I don't really like Paizo's art all the time. But the Taldan Phalanx proper begins to work its way back to Demir. There are thousands upon thousands of dudes with shields almost interlocked, spears pointing out front. As you guys
And
begin,
then this fire 30 minutes ago.
in that case, you didn't get any of your spells back.
Uh-oh. Take your pick.
Oh, I was.
Oh, it's canon now. I thought he was doing it let me scroll up. I'll find it.
I didn't. Well, I wanted to bring them all into the thing and then light it right before we left.
Well, I heard it as
Because I figured if I lit it in the middle of the night, you would be like, you all wake up and the fucking town is on fire.
I didn't think of that. Okay, well, that's already happened. You can light it now, but these guys have figured out that you guys are here. I also rolled the percentage dice for it anyway, and I got a 92. So
Fair enough.
you guys are as the rounds of bullets begin firing into the town, you guys are able to break off. I will remove them from the board, but you guys are actively in a chase.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not like in
Yeah.
Starfinder as the mechanics, because those mechanics are weird and bad, but
They reworked them. They're less stupid now.
no, good.
So the plan is for us. So the plan, we are going to do a fighting retreat southward.
No, we're gonna do a retreat.
Yeah, you guys are very outnumbered.
Okay, yeah.
We've got horse archers.
Like I said earlier,
Okay,
we are going to run.
so
Yeah.
let me get a destination.
The river.
The river? Okay, so we'll move you here. I will roll, not yet. Okay, so 3 hours pass. It's pretty much flat ground here, so you guys would be able to see. These guys are pretty much right behind you.
I think I know what Endling is.
There are too many of them for you to be a little turnt in the river. Well, I mean, you could probably figure it out, but
So is it just the Phoenix? Do they have? I would assume they have clerics, right?
Yeah, that is a reasonable assumption.
What about arcane casters with them?
Again, a reasonable consumption. You could eat that reasonably. Yeah, no.
So, how close are their gun users?
Perhaps half a mile. You guys can see them because, like, it's a flat grassland.
Is my swarm gone?
Your swarm is here till 10 p.m. It is presently 9 in the morning.
Distract the head of their phalanx with bugs.
You just keep going. Cross the bridge.
Cross the bridge.
Okay.
Yep,
So,
cross it.
That's another hour. These guys stay, like, right behind you.
Chris
Okay.
applesauce.
As we are crossing the bridge, what is the bridge made out of, Tommy?
Have I said that before at all, guys?
No.
I have not. Okay, so,
Dead
That
bodies.
said that it wouldn't support the guy who flew over it, though.
I did
Gave
say
us
that.
that much.
okay. So, I'll let that be a little more in your guys' favor as I roll these percentage dice.
Wait until they get on the bridge.
The
It's made out
bridge...
of platinum. It's unbreakable.
That's called geometanium in this house. Thank you very much.
Mm.
But the bridge is made of like little more than like wood and stone. It's not. It probably actually creaks kind of awkwardly as you guys like en masse move across it with so many people. It's pretty much just made to like support the occasional trade cart that might be pulled through.
Tommy,
I mean,
So
Is this
anyone
like a
who can,
bridge?
Go ahead, Joe.
unless Enderling is communicating a plan, Xandu assumes
cat
that
just-
the goal is to burn this bridge or destroy it in some other way.
yes,
Uh,
anyone who can. Oh, good.
I
he's going
actually,
to grease and burn it.
I actually have fireball prepared, so I can cast.
I have a flamethrower.
Oh, I have grease, so we can get the bridge all greasy and then burn it.
Get it all.
Well, you're an
greased up.
alchemist. I also figured you had, bombs.
Yeah.
Your
Bearings and
bombs.
telegraphs, I think.
Your bombs. Does it have a time delay fuse, or are they just normal bombs?
His
We're just-
bombs
we're
have
gonna be-
napalm.
Yeah, my bombs turn into essentially a 15-foot breath weapon.
How heavy are the bombs exactly?
He has no bombs. He
The-
has the breath weapon bomb discovery, and he's flavoring it like a flamethrower.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, he doesn't have to.
I don't have to, but there's no reason for me.
Yeah.
The idea I had with my familiar, it could carry a single alchemist bomb to drop it on the grease to set the bridge on fire.
See,
I
the
can-
problem with that is that you can't. Once I hand a bomb off to someone else, it becomes inert.
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh,
while that's happening, folks spreading out caltrops and using his insects to harry the people so he can get as much of them up on the bridge as possible.
Okay, sure. They, you, around the time you imagine the swarm would make it to the phalanx, you guys begin hearing the sounds of their guns going off again.
Yeah, Francis is also going to throw a flaming spear down there.
Okay. The
It's
flaming
all
sphere is
greased up
enough to
and
set
ready
the
to
bridge
go.
up.
So how far? So they're right on the bridge. So how far are we away from the bridge? I'm figuring how far I can throw a fireball exactly.
The bridge is not an accurate descriptor of how far away that is on the board. Again, this hex is an hour's travel. So, like, it just represents on the map where it is. There's definitely enough grassland on both sides of it to where, like, for Lucia to be in range to fireball, like, if you're trying to hit the troops with it, like, you'd be in range of their guns. Well, no, you wouldn't. Fireball is a pretty impressive range.
Yeah, it's got
Like 400 plus X.
yeah.
So, you could, if you wanted to stay behind, if you want everybody else to stay behind.
The plan was anyone who can get across the river by themselves gets across the river. Anyone that can move fast goes first, and then we get everyone who can do neither across the bridge, and then we throw everything we have at the bridge. Because the bridge is a far easier enemy than the phalanx.
Yeah, the bridge is
Yes.
super easy to take out.
I have a horse, so I can just quickly catch up with you,
That's
and
true.
I can just.
But there's no reason for you to stay behind. We could just stand on one side of the bridge and set fire to it.
Right.
True.
Yeah. You guys get the feeling that would, you don't know how many clerics might have, major creation or something over there. And again,
So major creation takes some time to produce.
It does. And so would, teleporting everyone across, because you can only do that in increments of, 8. You would at least, you'd buy yourself a few hours, at least.
Yeah, that's what we want. We just want them to lose our trail.
Okay, easy enough. We will...
Also, it gets a head start on that. Let's destroy every bit of infrastructure in this part of the country.
So do we take out any of their troops on it?
Do you guys want to wait until they start crossing the bridge?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Sounds like a
man.
terrible idea.
Nope.
No, because they'd shoot us.
Pogue is so pissed off.
Pogue is so
Okay.
pissed right now. You guys would definitely buy yourselves a few hours for sure.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to point out there's another crossing over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys could...
How many boats are in Shabashir? Because we already know the river flows in our favor if we get on boats and take it down towards the next
And burn
town.
that bridge too?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I said there were any left.
You said there was more than one boat, not necessarily enough to hold an army.
I'll percentage dice in your favor. Because I don't really... I don't remember what I said. I never read anything down.
I think you said there were a few fishing boats, and that's it.
But I think those boats are over here now.
So Poe's going to float on Enderling's back while everybody else marches.
That's doable. You see also, as this is going on, as you guys begin to discuss the river, Ogru's... he won't say anything. He just kind of he points in the direction of the river, and he kind of it almost sounds like a low growl. And his war cat moves into the water, and as it does so, you see it kind of it's back. It kind of Vaporeon's out, for lack of a better way to say it. It grows a fishtail. It begins to look more aerodynamic is the wrong word, but it begins taking on fish-like features.
Hydrodynamic.
Yeah, hydrodynamic.
Yeah.
Oh, so this war cat, it is a war catfish now.
Beautiful.
It's more like this character is a hunter, and he is able to put aspects on his animal companion, and he's given it a swim speed. But, yeah, sure.
Whatever you want to call it.
As far as getting your troops down here, you definitely do not have enough...
They just have to march.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should send some people who can burn the other bridge ahead of us.
Well, between here and the other bridge, if we keep up the same pace, we should gain 3 hours on them.
You would gain quite a bit of time, even just on foot. For you guys, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. For them, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you would get 2 hours ahead of them. This is assuming they immediately make for that bridge.
Do we want to burn Shabashir as well while going through it?
There's still people there, I think.
No. It's deserted.
Oh.
We can.
So yay or nay for burning?
Are there still useful supplies in Shabashir?
It's entirely possible. I will hit the percentage
Then we burn
dice.
it.
Not really.
Loot and burn.
I'm gonna burn it.
All right.
I'm living the dream.
The town goes up.
Enderling was supposed to be the pyrophile, but
It turns out it's the plant lover who loves setting things on fire.
I hate
pissed off.
civilization.
He's burning the corpses of the trees.
damn streets! Always having people dead on them.
This actually reminds me of a character from Way of the Wicked, Adventure Path.
Who just likes to burn things. So
Yeah,
am I hearing you guys are going over here?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna burn that bridge.
Does
I
Enderling...
think Enderling could probably travel faster swimming than the army can march.
That is very true.
Yeah.
You could almost just lay on your back and float faster.
Yeah, and I also have a swim speed as well, so
You do.
I mean, put that on top of that, and then we got a
And
whole
the
big
river's
old
flowing in
fast
that
sandwich.
direction.
Yeah, Enterling probably gets there about an hour. Enterling and Augur's Warcat probably get there about an hour ahead of the rest of the group, as well as the Tien woman. The Tien woman and her horse, they follow along the river as well, and you guys can see, like, as the horse starts to flag, she puts her hand on the horse's neck and says something in Celestial, and as it does so, it instantly revitalizes and goes again as if it just started running.
I speak Celestial.
You weren't there,
Okay,
though.
cool.
This
I
is
didn't think
well
so.
in front.
But I thought
So when we get to that bridge, Enderling's going to immediately set to work using his flamethrower.
Okay, let's see what this bridge is made out of.
Yeah, we get there and it's already like gone.
This bridge is solid adamantine. No. I'm going to say this bridge is a little sturdier. You can burn it, and it will be, this bridge is a little more stone. There's probably, I'm trying to think what bridges were like back then.
I am thinking, would sonic damage destroy it?
That's entirely possible, yeah. The bridge is,
there's probably wood supports underneath it.
Yeah, and Enderling can hit those supports.
If it's a stone arch bridge, it's going to have a keystone in the middle of it.
Okay.
Yeah, does Pogues 18, assuming the bridge isn't down by the time we get there, tell us anything about how to take the bridge out?
Sonic damage would get rid of the stone bits, finding the keystone, and doing whatever it is you need to do with the keystone. I don't know a lot about bridges.
Just knock it out.
Okay.
The keystone is just one big triangular rock in the middle. Just knock that puppy out and the whole bridge will go down.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
You know that.
I am a troll.
You are
I
a
know
troll.
a lot about bridges.
Make your knowledge bridge check.
It's hereditary.
It's in my blood.
Northern bridge troll blood.
Well, I did prepare a sonic spell today, which is pretty nice.
These guys are here.
I can also turn into a large creature that would weigh 1,200 pounds.
Would that be enough to break the bridge? As you guys are discussing this, Agruz looks down. Well, down. Yeah, he kind of leans forward to look down at his warcat, but he points at the bridge and he growls again, and the warcat puts both of its foreclaws on top of it and just.
We're not discussing it. I'm doing it. I don't have any time to wait for this. He's pointing at his cat. I'm already standing on the bridge, large creature jumping up and down.
And as you jump up and down, it grabs the bridge and pulls it. It can't just rip it off, but it definitely takes a sizable portion of the bridge away and throws it in the river. That plus Enterling playing Rampage on top of the building is more than enough to destroy this bridge as well.
Sorry.
Let me grab. I want this one to be in green. Yeah. But
Green means go, Tommy.
Green means it's super dead. It's so dead it's rotting. It's gross.
It's so dead it's gone. It's going.
What's worth?
It's got the green light to get the hell out.
Dahl makes a point. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was just double checking if we burned that place or not on the map.
You did. You guys also, I should say, in the process of going to that bridge, you passed through this. Let's roll some percentage dice. Let's see if we come up with anybody. Okay, sure. Let me grab
the rest of Demir catch fire.
The rest of Demir, probably no.
The place else of the bridge. Are there any living people there still, or is it a ghost town?
I'm getting there. 3, 4, 5. I need to reroll the 5. It's not as accurate as it could be.
Donald's down if it's a ghost town.
So the 6 is also bad.
Well, it is us against them, and burning the towns down is not a bad idea. As I
pointed out, yes.
What?
We don't mean a literal ghost town.
There's actual ghosts.
Ooh!
I'm gonna just break out all the banshees.
Well, ghost town, as in no one there type of ghost town.
Mm-hmm. So you guys,
as opposed to the necromancer ghost town, lots of people there.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
You guys reach the town, and there are. I'm gonna roll a D4 times 100. No, I'll roll a D8 times 100. It'll be nice. And it doesn't matter. Okay, so there are about 100. They're mostly just the infantry you guys have, but that little Gripply is at the head of them. And probably actually standing on somebody's head, kind of pointing directions out in his little Kermit the Frog voice. It sees you guys, and The 100 soldiers just kind of like immediately like merge with your own and begin like
Fuck, we're growing. I don't want.
growing
Oh,
forces. As this happens, the Gripply makes its way over to Emeritus and like crawls up his back to end up like on his shoulder.
Oh, your friend's back.
Yay! I'll give
You
her
feel
a
good.
pat on, or a, I guess it would be a pat on the shoulder, but it'd be more like with just like 2 fingers rather than with like a full hand.
Okay.
Just as like a casual like, hello friend.
Okay.
Not like, yeah.
Nothing terrible. Okay. She looks just as like wide-eyed or like surprised, I guess I should say, to see you guys as you are to see her or anybody else. She's kind of at a loss for words, and she just kind of like stammers, like, "What? Where? How? What's going on?"
I'll catch her
Is
up
Isha
Go ahead, Joe.
abandoned?
Other than these guys, yeah,
Does it have any useful supplies in it?
I'll roll it. Well, bam.
Instruct the army to take as much as they can, and then we burn the city.
Understood. Okay, specifically, rations aren't that big a deal for you guys. Actually, I lost track of something. Hang on.
Oh, another important thing, if there are any farmlands, it's also important to burn.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, so real quick, before we go any farther, Enterling doesn't need to make this because he was in the water, but there are 3 Fortitude saves that need to be rolled, and I'm going to ask everybody, like, don't roll your 3 Fort saves right now, but, like, everybody who's not Joe, roll a Fort save, I'll record the answer, then roll a Fort save, and then roll a Fort save, essentially. Because as the day wears on, like, again, it starts getting unseasonably hot.
Oh man.
Does Xandu have an action point?
No, I spent that to not critically fail my my other roll.
You're going to sleep. Roll.
Yeah. Did I get everybody?
Yeah, it was some perception
No,
roll,
not yet,
I think,
not yet.
or knowledge roll, I think. Oh, it's a knowledge roll to see how to get people into the dimension of dreams.
Right.
Oh, here you ready. So 3 of them, right?
Just make 1 for now.
I rolled my 3 already. So
Okay, I'm gonna take the first one because I said roll them 1 at a time. I'm still waiting on Donald's or not Donald's. Shit, Kane's.
I lost connection to the server really quick there.
Rough. Story of my life.
Do you want a fortitude save?
Yeah, please. As I quickly grab how this works.
Oh, crap.
All right,
Oh, nice.
everybody passes but Xandu. Just trying to
Wah.
find everything in the heat category is like lava. We're catching on fire.
Xandu catches on fire.
Yeah, just poof. Actually, I lied. More people fail. Xandu fails. The DC's higher than I thought it was. And also Pogue fails, right? Yeah. And so you guys take... actually, there is more going on.
Actually, more people fail.
Yeah, I gotta roll for everybody else, too.
Right, I thought I wanted to float down the river.
Okay, fine. You float down the river and are fine. I'm just gonna grab the...
Yeah, he did say that earlier.
He did, yeah. I'm just gonna roll the dice here for your troops. They have bonuses for it, and thus all pass the first one. But Xandu, what happens? I just want to know what happens.
Nothing.
The thing with the stuff.
Heat deals non-lethal damage. It cannot be recovered, but how much non-lethal damage?
Just
Oh,
a little
okay,
bit.
I see it. Okay, so Xandu takes 3 non-lethal damage, and then everybody who's not, I guess, Van or Joe, make another Fortitude save. I'll go ahead and roll everybody else's here.
Oh,
I rolled mine already. So
Again, I want you to roll them 1 at a time, so it's easier for me to see it.
okay, I rolled already. So it's 20 up there.
Okay, what I see is you rolled a 20 twice.
Yeah, you said rolled three times, and I just rolled all of them.
But I see
So.
2. You did not roll the 3rd.
Yeah, 20, 20, and 21. It was after
Oh,
Xandu's.
I see it. Okay. Yeah, I did ask you to do them separately, and next time I would like you to do it when I ask, so it's easier for my end, but you do pass all three. In the meantime, Xandu fails.
Can I re-roll mine with my hero point?
You can.
Yay, that's better.
That does pass.
Woo!
Looking on Francis now.
You want 2 more?
One more now. Because I'm trying to track tables while this is going on. That passes. Xandu does pass. I lied, because it's tied to defender. So now, Xandu, Sarah, and Kane, one more fort save. And I roll
Right now?
these. Yeah.
Ah.
That's a bit better.
That is a bit better. That does pass. Sarah fails, though.
I sadly failed one of them.
And you take 4 non-lethal damage, and Kane one more.
It's there. It's 16.
I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, that fails too, and Kane takes 2 non-lethal damage.
Okay.
And that was all the interruption I needed to do. You guys are back here. I just forgot that was going on. That is about, it's middle of the afternoon as you guys reach here. You guys reckon you have like 3 or 4 hours before the sun goes down.
Burn the city.
The city is burned.
Head for the next river.
Okay.
And we have a bit more time now. So we could probably use the river to help with...
Do we travel at night then?
We should probably be traveling at night after this moment. Enderly has a lot of concerns concerning our current state of affairs.
Like what?
First of all, our army is far too large. 1,000 people wandering around the desert is not inconspicuous.
Well, I thought we were going to leave them at the mine or something.
Yeah, we are. It's just that it's growing now, and we're just becoming this. Oh, I accidentally sent everyone a period.
So, if we do divide up the armed forces, so what would be a manageable amount for each group if we are trying to sabotage them?
I don't say we decide that now. Let's keep moving.
Okay. So we're just, am I hearing parties here? Yeah, are we going like, just go here, burn this, continue?
Yeah.
I mean, you could send the scouts and the horse out, like for ambushes and stuff, like the scouts in the forest for foraging parties or something.
But we're not fighting a war here anymore.
No, I know.
Now we're fighting for survival.
But you were worried about us dragging big armies across the.
Yeah, and we're just gonna take this army to some place that we think we can hold up. And I don't say we take Volmus Mine. I say we destroy Volmus Mine and we hide somewhere that isn't established.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Because we need to be quick and mobile. We need to be able to strike. We need to be a small force. We can't be so imposing. We can't fight on the battlefield here. These guys just have the complete advantage.
I agree with that.
Says the 15-year-old troll.
Yeah. So as you guys
with 18 intelligence.
With 18 intelligence. He's got more intelligence than he does years. Everybody make a fort save again.
If I jump in the river.
I'm going
Do
to
we take out this bridge as well?
Yes.
Tommy, I'm going to re-roll my fort save using my hero point.
Understood.
Wait, is this for Pogue now too? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I gotta grab everything here.
26.
Pug passes, Xandu passes, right? Hold on, Xandu might not pass actually. This is Xandu's fourth, 18, and then Xandu just barely passes. Enderling fails, Lucia fails, I think.
Enderling fails?
He fails
I thought
because
16 was tied to defender.
And you're taking a neg 4 because you're wearing any kind of armor.
No, I'm not. I'm not wearing any armor.
What are you wearing?
I am just wearing barkeep's clothing.
Okay. Would anybody other than Joe consider that to be heavy clothing?
It would be.
It's just suspenders and a shirt.
It would be
I'd say
clothing.
no.
It would be
It's definitely
clothing, pretty much.
Okay, then he
So-
passes.
Well, and pants, of course, not just like suspenders
God.
dangling off my shoulders.
We don't need more.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
Suspenders holding up his appendage.
I meant like not like overalls, but like just like medieval tavern keepers' clothes.
Sure.
I never
And they're
assumed
kinda
you
like-
didn't have pants on.
So, Sarah and Donald, yeah. Francis just barely passes. Yeah, because I gotta like crunch all these numbers in real time here. So just Sarah and Donald, that much non-lethal. If you've taken non-lethal damage from this at all, you become fatigued, and then you guys reach the bridge in the river.
Let's burn this bridge.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
if it's-
and-
Let's cross it and then burn it. Of course.
We are burning everything today. Let's burn the entire
Yes.
world if we can.
The bridge is made of wood. It's not difficult for you guys to burn it. As you guys cross, the army stops and all like they don't like dive in the river, but they all like take time to stop and like
yeah, Zandu will
splash
as well.
themselves off. Okay, Zandu's non-lethal
Oh, yeah.
damage is removed. He is no longer fatigued.
That was easy.
Yeah, all it is find a way to get rid of the hot.
Well, I will-
Same then.
Would if I did use prestidigitation, could I use that to cool myself down?
Probably not, because that's an illusion, right?
No, it actually cools things.
Yeah.
It does things.
Oh, okay. If that works, that works. Yeah, I have no idea. I've only ever used it to like clean myself off.
Yeah, you can
Which-
heat
which
stuff up and
is-
cool stuff a tiny amount.
Right. Which is actually really cleaning you, not just an illusion.
Oh,
So.
fair enough. Yeah, that works then.
Prestidigitation is one of my favorite spells. You could use it for anything for the most part.
Mhm.
Yes, and cooking.
Yeah, it persists for only a little while, so like every hour you have to like spritz yourself again, but that does work.
What about communal endure elements?
That is also great. Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay. What's the
Oh,
bonus?
Oh.
What's the bonus on Endure Elements for this?
Your elements just says that you can survive up to -40 and like plus something.
You can exist comfortably in conditions between -50 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit
Okay, yeah, you're great then.
without having to make forth.
Okay.
You call that a desert? That's right.
You ever been to Venus?
All right. So
You've been to Phoenix, right?
I said Venus, but yeah, that works.
That's
too.
Phoenix too.
I'm gonna get to drive as many colors as I can.
Very pretty.
Bridge is burnt. You guys at this point have lost track of your pursuers.
Oh yeah, as I'm sure they've lost track of us.
Mhm.
That's the whole point.
They
Yep.
probably
Well, they can probably follow the like smoldering trail of destruction.
That is a thought. Yeah.
Don't give the GM ideas.
Yeah, but so far they know we've crossed a bridge that was nearby the last bridge they saw us at.
Yeah. You guys
Assuming they get
probably
across that.
like you had more than enough time to burn this and then take off before they would reach here, but you imagine that reach there they did.
Yeah, they know what's going on.
So what's
We're
our
gonna have
next
to go
move?
someplace else.
I'm assuming down to Kabila.
So with Endure Elements,
Yeah.
there is no more need for saves. You guys reach the town, and you guys have about an hour of daylight left. Let's see what's going on here.
Well, I know it's about to be going.
So you reach the place, and as soon as you guys do, a bunch of the doors are thrown open, and several Kellish men and women who they seem to have armed themselves with pretty much whatever they could find. Maybe like 1 in every 10 of them has like a rusty scimitar, but for the most part, it's just like rolling pins and like quarterstaffs that are all like super bent up and stuff, and like farm implements and.
Someone tell these people not to use these weapons on us and to put them to use fighting the Imperials.
They're not attacking you. They're not just. "Rah!" It's not like that. It's like they pretty much like they all come out, and as you guys move in, they all like throw their arms up and they cheer.
We're here to burn your home.
That's what I was gonna say. Like except in far more diplomatic terms, we probably need to tell them that we cannot leave anything.
What
We
is
can't leave
Francis's
anything for
charisma
them.
score?
It's not very good.
It's not.
no.
Because I need to take notes for Necross.
It's my lowest score at a 13.
At a 13, you're terrible. You knew that was bad to say, and you said it anyway.
I mean, mine's a 10.
We're here to burn your homes.
My
Hey!
my charisma is
No.
like 15.
Pogue's got a 20. Let the halfling do the talking.
Okay, got it.
Well, maybe we should not burn this so that we lose their trail further, so they have no trail to follow.
Also,
I mean, if we burn everything, it's not a trail as much as it is just a tangle. Let me point that one out. Also, we need to destroy everything. They know we're going this way. It's not hard to figure that out. The trail is going to go cold
Yeah, true.
eventually, though.
We just keep burning.
Exactly.
So
We
these
can't let
guys
them
are
have
not exactly on board with their houses being burned to the ground.
Oh no, shit.
We have innocents here for the most part, so we shouldn't burn the place down.
It's
Oh,
either we
wow,
burn
what
your
a
homes.
role.
So we explained to them what we saw in the other towns and the Imperials and stuff, and that they're going to come anyway, and they're going to kill their families, and take all their stuff and leave their town destroyed. So they have a choice. They can either keep it out of the Imperials' hands and destroy it themselves and save their lives, or they can stay and try to protect things they can't hold on to.
Okay, fair enough. They begin to mull over. Well, go ahead, Sarah. If you want to roll.
Meredith wants to meet another and tell them everything is going to be okay.
Okay.
It's not gonna be though, because we're gonna burn their fucking home.
Somebody,
We are saving them by burning their town.
They mull it over amongst themselves, and an elderly man comes up to Pogue and just, "Can we have the night to assemble our things?" He's very he's not gonna start breakdown bawling in front of you guys, but
We used to break dancing.
he's not gonna start breakdancing.
Oh man,
In the sand, that's gonna suck.
His sprite breaks and it just goes everywhere. You have to restart roll 20. But no, they ask for the night to assemble their get all their belongings together.
Yes.
Okay.
Enderling,
Do you
Yes.
care about that at all? Throws a fireball.
how long do you figure it would take a smart man in a suit of heavy armor to cross a river?
If he's wading through a river, he's going to drown. So never.
What if they all have exceptionally long snorkels?
Well, I would assume the clerics could probably cast water breathing, so that would work.
Yeah, and the wizards can teleport. That's what I mean by a smart man with access to resources.
Well, it's possible I would assume they would have foldable boats they could use.
They could certainly get their army across the river, but at this point, it's going to take them so long to transport across 2 rivers. Remember, they can only transport a few at a time. They're going to have to all link hands and say their little spell and cross the river only at maybe 8 at a time.
the other thing
Per
too is
caster.
it's not like they came with like dinghies on everybody's back because we're in the desert. So most of their hiking and stuff is going to be, or most of their stuff is not going to be water oriented.
Yeah, you guys imagine most of it's going to be just
New
combination of
bottom.
teleporting people across. Probably some people can cast air bubble on groups of soldiers and move them that way, or maybe airwalk, or even overland flight, that kind of thing.
If they need to,
But they're going over water.
Mm-hmm.
for the
Lucia, how far behind are they? Ask the bird.
so my bird, how far do they see?
Okay. To my knowledge, your bird is right here because you have not said otherwise that the bird would be.
Yeah, I would assume my bird was in the sky, keeping me updated
But
what's going on.
I'm gonna say
No, I can-
because I haven't heard anything about that between here and now that your bird is right here.
Sure. So send the bird off. You should be able to see reasonably well if it goes up high enough.
Yeah,
Especially if the sun is setting and they'll need lights.
That is true. Okay, so your bird flies up. It honestly probably takes about an hour for your bird to travel enough. Like, this isn't just all flat as you get here. It starts to like turn into like rolling hills. About like here-ish. I gotta count squares. Hang on. 1, 2. You guys are 4 squares there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna grab their token. I'm gonna slap it on the board, and that is where they are. Where is their token? I have too many tokens. I need to clean this up. And it always takes like a million years to load the tokens in. I always want to drag a second token over, but by the time I drag the token over, I'll drag a second token over. Okay, everybody see where that token landed?
Nope.
That is where they are.
Yeah, all the way up at Kavar.
Mm-hmm.
So they're way far
over
away.
there.
Yeah. They have turned back
They've-
north.
Oh.
That is interesting information.
That leaves us free to burn. Also to plan and split up ourselves so we're no longer such a tempting target.
That is true. Can everybody real quick? Well, it's no knowledge check. I'll just go ahead and say the whole snafu. Snafu makes this sound a lot less serious than like we're burning everyone's homes.
Fiddlesticks!
But the whole thing, the whole like reason there was a fight going on here was because a Chelish prince had made his way here, and basically the Imperials and the rebels were playing hot potato with the prince, trying to get a hold of him. And like, you guys imagine that word got back to the Phalanx that the Chelish prince is no longer in Qadira, and as such, they may be pulling back to Taldor. It may be kind of like it's too much effort for them to go chase you guys down, and it's also like Qadira is the back end of the Taldan Empire, and they don't really care about it. They care about like its connection to the Gold Road. They care about like the lots and lots and lots of money they get out of Qadira, but that's about it. They don't care about
I.e. the giant mithril mine we're approaching.
That is true. It's not so much about like 1,000 random guys with spears.
So what you're saying is they don't care about us, and these people come after.
Correct.
We can spare their town, I guess. But Volma's mine needs to be destroyed. We also need to solve the problem of how we're going to recross rivers to attack them.
What? No, they're gone.
I should also say that
Yes.
the map is much bigger than this. Next week I'll have a more like put together map of Qadira for you guys. You don't necessarily have to stick to this. If you feel like running over to Taldor, I won't stop you. But like that's not the only option.
This is the idea. Before we burn everything in the mines, we could strip it clean of any resource.
Yeah.
That would take too long. And also we'd be carrying around a lot of valuable stuff.
Which would make us more of targets again.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The point is to make ourselves inconvenient enough to not attack, still mobile enough that we can attack them and destroy their ability to force themselves.
Maybe you could sell some off to the merchants.
But maybe if we're selling stuff, people will be like, hey, look, there's a big group of people selling stuff, and they have a lot of money.
No, through Mercutio.
Sarah's
Yeah,
stopped
Mercutio.
contributing.
We have the interdimensional whatever merchants,
Yeah.
multiverse
Right.
merchants.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
Unless you plan on like going to Kathir and selling stuff. I mean, she's not entirely wrong. They could like you guys aren't the only people with connections to the multiverse. If like a vast amount of mithril shows up on like the plane of water, say, I don't know why that's there. That probably doesn't float, but if it were to happen, they could like reasonably trace it back down to you guys, and it's not like the safest thing in the world. It's not unsafe. I haven't given this to you to make it a plot device and kill you. But like, she's not wrong.
Right. But a new set of armor might be nice.
With the
Yeah, no, I'm game for that plan.
we could, with a missile, supply our troops with better armor.
That is true. Of course, if the druid decides to wear mithril armor, I believe he loses his druid stuff.
Yeah.
And the troll's going to wear
Also,
mithril suspenders.
let me just point out the fact again. If we are going to carry around all of this expensive stuff and spend the time retrieving these resources, we're going to make ourselves a target. I
Don't
say
spend a lot of time. Take what we can, destroy the rest.
exactly. If we take what we can and we deny the rest.
Sounds good.
It does indeed.
But that
There's
does
gonna
not
be
mean deny.
process.
That does not mean that we destroy stuff that we can take and
Yeah.
can
Yes.
use.
I never said we don't take stuff. I'm just saying we shouldn't take the time to just strip everything. Things that aren't like quote unquote nailed down, we take. But anything that is just going to be too much time to take needs to be destroyed. There's no
Understood.
reason. You guys have just, well, not you guys, but these people in their little revolution are trying to fight a war. And what we're trying to do right here is we're trying to make the war not possible to be fought.
What? No, by the revolutionaries?
By either side. If we make it so that there's no reason and that there's no way to fight a war, they'll leave.
What? No, we want the revolutionaries to be able to be free, right?
Yes, freedom would be given to us by destroying everything that there is to fight. War, of course.
Sounds very Buddhist.
That sounds very Swedish.
Oh, okay.
It can be both.
It can be both, yes.
Well, all right then.
All I'm saying is we deny them.
What's Mustafa going to say about that?
I think Mustafa is a bit stuck in his way at the moment. He's fighting an ideological battle when he's not looking at it pragmatically.
So you're going to set him straight?
Yes.
Have fun with that task.
Well, Mustafa isn't here right now. If he comes here and he tells me, good news, then, yeah, I'll listen to him. But for right now, he's not here. We don't have any friends. All we're doing out here is watching our friends get slaughtered.
True that.
I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. Have you?
No.
And we haven't seen... All he's done for us is give us 1,000 troops that we've had to drag through the desert and watch them get sick from the heat. And he's given us a fort that was promptly lost. Now, granted, that wasn't our fault, but that force was far superior to ours, and there's no way we could have held it. All I'm saying is, right now, he's trying to fight a war in the wrong fashion.
He's got a point.
Well, I guess as we...
How does I gotta figure out how Xandu reflects on this from his experience in war.
Yeah.
We have no experience in, well,
Xandu
no
does.
first-hand experience in war.
I mean, Torvald fought in combat many times. Not in wars, but in raiding and fighting in the Hoth. So...
And Pogue has slept with a lot of officers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This is one idea I have when I actually level up and get my first level spells. One of these spells I can take, it is the contagion spell, which I could use and pick a disease that could weaken the enemy forces. But what is everyone's thought?
Anything to win a war.
Yeah.
Right now we're burning fields and destroying towns. I think we're already trying to spread this disease and pestilence. Famine, so...
We are like the horseman of the apocalypse now.
Yeah, we are.
I guess. Is everyone online with going to change?
I would say no, because, well, for one, the alignments don't change on the spot. What I've been doing, like when Lucio went to Lawful Evil, is I stop and check every 4 levels, basically. And, like, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, if anyone, when we get to level 8 and we do that, if anyone's like, you are being really evil, Kane, for burning down, we're here to burn your homes.
That's what we were here to do.
I'm just
First
saying.
of all, that was a joke.
I know it was. I'm aware, but like, if like for serious reasons, I would consider it. But in the moment, I don't. I consider this like I see Joe's logic and I see Joe's in character logic as well. So I do not think Joe's performing an evil act. I would say he's probably like if I had to name it on the alignment chart, I'd probably call it lawful neutral. Because
I mean, I would call it true neutral or even chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn everything, deny everything to anyone.
Yeah.
Do whatever we can.
Somewhere on the neutral.
Somewhere there. Sometimes I feel like my definition of lawful neutral is a lot more different than everybody else's. Like
Lawful neutral is one of those terms that alignment that can be anything and can easily be abused.
Yeah, for sure. But
I think
anyway,
it's
that is neither here nor there. What do we want to do right now? Because we've come up on like final stuff we need to do.
Right now,
Manu has some last things that he wants to say as Enderling is sort of saying that we have to destroy everything.
Okay.
What we fight for the hope for a better tomorrow. We cannot hang on to what we have today if we want to see that hope come to fruition. I watched my people get slaughtered trying to hang on to things, trying to hang on to their country, and we ended up losing the entire country because people would not leave behind what they had to. So, if we want to see freedom, if we want to see hope, we must let go of the past and the present to fight for the future.
In general, the like the townsfolk and your soldiers all like not in agreement.
So he's back in Enderling here with his personal experience.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything? Also, do we spend the night in this town? You guys, we'll say it's actually probably gone to dark because it took an hour for.
They asked if they could have the night, right?
Yeah.
we're not going to burn their town at this moment, but I still think. Well, I don't know. I think at the moment we should probably take everything and disperse people into the countryside. But that's neither here nor there. That's discussion for next time.
Okay.
Well, let it be known that these people can keep their town, but given the state of the rest of the townships and villages and thirds that we've come across thus far, there's no saying that those soldiers won't march back across those rivers, hand in hand, teleportation scroll at the ready.
Big old family.
Yeah.
To take this town themselves. If they do not lose, if Kambila doesn't burn tomorrow, it may burn a week from now or a month from now. But this is a war. It'll burn eventually.
The townspeople again kind of like generally agree with that. Small children and like old housewives all begin to start like crying.
Oh.
It kind of like reality kind of like hits here.
I've spent a lot of time alone, but I've also spent a lot of time in the midst of civil war. Everything burns eventually.
I mean, I would just like to quote Winston Churchill here for a second and say that we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets.
And in the arid grasslands and in Taldor.
I don't want to fight in the streets.
There's no trees there.
No, they'll be dancing in the streets.
All right, so unless anybody else has anything to add, my final question to the party before we knock off for the night is, do we stay the night here?
Yeah, and I
I'm
think we
fine
should
with
direct
that.
people west towards the rest of the rebellion.
Okay. In that case, real quick before we call it an end, call it percentage dice.
Who, me?
Yep,
For Dreamland.
for Dreamland.
Tally ho.
Tally ho!
Getting the cloak of resistance made, it's going to take forever if we're going to be burning things down.
Yeah. Okay, Xandu enters the dimension of dreams, and it's everybody again sees like pretty much as soon as Xandu goes to bed, he begins having like a really bad, fitful nightmare. Make a will save, Colin.
Slap
Oh,
him
boy.
hard in the mouth.
I hope I didn't close the tab for this thing. Please tell me I didn't close the tab. Okay, now we're good.
Oh boy.
That does
Oh
fail.
boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
And we will resolve what happens with that failure next time. Thanks you guys for watching. Again, real quick, if you haven't subbed to them, sub to the Interplanar Crossroads, like and subscribe here for more videos, and we will see you next time.